Today is a great day. Yamaha just released the latest firmware that will enable VRR pass-through. This is the firmware that everyone's been waiting for. So sit back, relax. Do me a favor by hitting that subscribe button and that like button. If you like this type of content, I'm about to go ahead and go over all the latest updates from Yamaha and to see if this firmware actually works with 4K 120 VRR pass-through. So I'm about to go ahead and start the video. So I currently have the Yamaha RX-A8A. I purchased that receiver in 2021 in September. And if you have any of the newest Yamaha receiver, this firmware update 1.73 will apply to you. But right now I'm still on firmware 1.66. I just want to show what the firmware does. On the 1.66, it doesn't enable VRR or ALLM or auto low latency. You only get the 4K 120 pass through. But on the 1.73, on the other hand, VRR is enabled and I have the auto low latency mode on this. So I'm about to go ahead and download the latest firmware update and I'm about to go through that portion of the settings. So now I downloaded the 1.73 on my Yamaha RX-A8A. Now I'm about to go ahead and go through some of the settings real quick. Now, this is my first impressions. I haven't had a chance to really test anything, but I will go through this more thoroughly in a later video. But right now I just wanted to download this to see if everything works. So the one thing I did do, I went to the HDMI video format. I'm looking at the 8K mode. That's why I have it on all my HDMI inputs. That's the way to get the 4K 120 VRR ALLM pass through. So I'm about to go and switch to the Xbox Series X to see if all the settings were enabled now. So prior to that, you saw on the 1.66, the pass through didn't go through for VRR or ALLM. I'm about to go into video mode and voila, we have ALLM and we have variable refresh rate. This is what we've been waiting for almost a year. This receiver came out in September. Some people even got it a little bit earlier in August. But thank you, Yamaha, for coming out with this firmware update. So excited for this. And it seems like everything is there. I'm about to go ahead and test out some gaming to see if I have any issues with playing games or if the video looks kind of strange or not. But right now you can see I'm in game mode on the Sony A95K. Everything looks the same on here. So I'm about to go ahead and switch into Halo and play a match real quick to see if everything is working. So going back to the first impressions, I went ahead and played a little bit of Halo on the Xbox Series X, played a little bit of Spider-Man on the Sony PlayStation 5, and I will say this as a good news, everything works as expected. I didn't have any issues, I didn't have any hiccups. Now, it's not to say that I will have it in the future. I just downloaded this firmware update, but I want to let everyone know who has this receiver or is going to get this receiver, just know that everything is working. You have the 4K 120 pass through VRR, ALLM, HDR. You got HDR 10 plus, HDR 10, Dolby Vision. Everything is working as expected from my first initial impression. So one thing I can say, once again, Yamaha, thank you for coming out with this firmware update. I'm extremely happy that they was able to make their promise on this receiver to give us the features that we've been asking for. Extremely pleased with this. So let me know in the comments what everyone thinks of this latest firmware update 1.73. If you're on the fence about the Yamaha receiver, I think this might be a good time to go ahead and get one. Now for the people who already have the Yamaha receiver, let me know what you think of the latest firmware update. Is it working as expected? Do you see any issues? I would like to know what everyone's views are about this, because this is my first impression. There may be some hiccups down the line, or maybe just working perfectly fine with no issues. But once again, I said this numerous times, I'm happy that Yamaha finally came through. There are some minor things that they could fix. I'm still giving my first impression, but just for them to do the pass through for VRR and ALLM, I'm extremely pleased for this and just want to say thanks. Until next time, I'll see everyone on the next video. Take care.